Yeah, Pete is right. I went through that situation, went from the corporate world. I retired abruptly, made a mistake by not having a plan to retire to something. And I really went through a change in my life where I really wanted to try to figure out what did I want to be versus what I had been expected to be once I got into the corporate meat grinder, basically. So yeah, hypnosis has helped me significantly. It helped me in my life. My wife will tell you that I'm a completely different person, a better person, I should say, than I was before. Much more at ease, much more relaxed, easy to get along with, don't get upset about things easily, that kind of thing. So I want to talk about that today. Where basically, I have a question for you. Have you ever noticed how two people can experience the exact same situation and walk away with completely different emotional experiences? One person may see opportunity. The other person sees risk. One person sees or receives feedback, and another sees it as criticism. With memories from the past, emotional trauma, authority figures, things like that, all creating situations in your mind where you form these thoughts about things where it may not necessarily be true. It is simply your perception. These repetitive thoughts create belief, and that belief fuels your identity. Before you actually understand the internal conversation that's going on in your mind that's shaping that belief. You know, many thoughts become powerful, not because they are true, but because they are repeated. Repetition is really kind of the enemy of the thoughts, especially negative thoughts in your mind, because you build scenarios that may not be true. The interesting part is that these repeated thoughts rarely stay isolated as thoughts. And over time, they begin shaping stories that we carry about ourselves and the world around us. What story about yourself have you repeated so long that it now feels permanent? For example, I'm not good at math. I could never run a marathon. I could never be a business owner because no one in my family has ever been a business owner. Those are all things that we tell ourselves that aren't necessarily true, because with effort, you could accomplish any one of those things. We replay conversations in our mind. We rehearse worst case scenarios over and over again. We talk ourselves out of opportunities because we think I could never accomplish that because that's not something I've ever done before. So, you know, two people may experience criticism. One walks away with, I must improve. The other walks away thinking, I have failed. It's all about perception. You know, many people operate from long-held assumptions and have never asked themselves if they still fit. Do those assumptions really still fit me? Is that really who I am? Or am I just carrying this baggage along with me? You know, it's encouraging that these stories don't have to remain permanent. You can change. And many of these stories have formed gradually over time. You know, it raises an important question, is what becomes possible when we stop treating old thoughts and beliefs as permanent truth? When do we go in and review these things and think, you know, that's really not me. That's where I was. I was believing these things, and it really wasn't me because I've been conditioned to believe those things. You know, understanding our thoughts creates options leading to choices. And once we embrace the premise of that change, once that's possible, it opens doors to how we explore or respond moving forward. You know, choice is recognizing that we have influence over the meaning and perspective we continue reinforcing. We question whether a thought is objectively true or if it's just familiar. We do these thoughts and these observations still deserve authority in our life? This doesn't mean that every circumstance becomes easy or every thought instantly disappears. But it does mean we have more influence over our internal direction than we have come to believe. Mindset is the ongoing relationship we have with our thoughts, perceptions, and choices. Meaningful change begins not by becoming someone new, but by becoming more aware of what has been shaping us all along and choosing to improve our quality of life. Martha Washington once said, and so we're talking about 250 years ago or so, she said, "I've learned from experience that the greater part of our happiness or misery depends upon our disposition and not upon our circumstances." So I have a business, a hypnosis business that I've opened. It's Essentia, Mindset Evolution. And what I do is I use meaningful conversations to understand what's happening in your life and the changes that you want to make. And then I use neuro-linguistic programming tools and techniques and hypnosis to help you go from where you currently are and where you want to be. I help you to make yourself the best version of yourself. Thank you.